what we're interested in, isn't it? Is what they're going to be doing over
Okay.
this quarter and in the next quarter.
Mm,
So Asteria Labs, for example, we've got an 89% increase.
mm,
Advanced Microplastics, you can see all the increase. Credo Technology, they've got a nice one at 219.
nice.
And I think Credo, if I look,
Projection.
they were actually giving data up to about Q3
Mm,
2026. Yeah, there you go. So we've actually still got data for Q3 2026. It's sometimes interesting that a few of the companies were actually giving data. I think one of them was actually giving data up to Q4 this year.
yep, different accounting dates. But it's
Yeah,
the same. Their
yeah.
Q3 can just mean February. But carry on.
Sure. So that was quite interesting. So obviously we're looking for our growth. Actually, what I'm going to do, if you don't mind, I'm just going to put my headset on because hearing you is going to be a little bit easier for me.
Sure.
Cool. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Cool. I can hear you better now as well. So obviously we're looking for, if we look at the S&P 500, that would be average growth of what, say 10 to 15% year on year.
Yep.
So to actually make a company worth investing in, I think we were talking, correct me if I'm wrong, we're talking about wanting a company that's going to be having a future projection growth of about 30% or more.
Yes. Very good.
So these figures are all looking good. So one of the questions that I was thinking, well, from here, this is a great analysis on some of these companies,
Yep.
but what else do we, well, obviously we need to look at an extreme fear market, which obviously we're heading down to.
Mm-hmm.
It was quite interesting to see that, um, what chart am I looking at? So here we're sort of heading on nicely down
Yeah.
on this chart here, which is looking favorable.
Nice.
Our extreme fear, we're at 31, oh, it's 32 early one, that's just dropped again. So fear, we're 31. We want to be, is it below 10 to
Yeah.
start
Yeah. That will be a
investing?
gold mine. If it is below 10, will be a gold mine. Yes.
Below 5 would be great.
Yeah.
So
Even 15, adding a layer bit is okay. Yeah. If it is really get down to below 15, bits by bits, you can add it.
sure,
Because
so
some,
below 15, start doing your
yeah.
dollar cost averaging. Yeah.
Mm,
So I guess my thoughts are, speaking out loud, is out of these companies that I analyzed,
mm,
do you go for obviously the companies that have got the highest projected future growth, which obviously could
yes.
be a
Mm,
natural choice?
yeah.
But also, I'm thinking also, well, what other things are we looking at maybe within those companies that could favor that growth
Mm,
or us making money within those companies? Or is there something else within that companies that could change our choices? So let's, for example, Credo,
mm.
that they're the biggest growth for this year out of all my analysis.
Okay.
But is there something that could actually say, well, actually, Credo could bring them down? Maybe things from maybe the war or maybe other things
That
that could
is,
that could
yeah,
affect.
you're absolutely right. Hence we want to keep it at around 10 so that we can keep on track of what actually is actually happening to a lot of your baby companies. Yeah.
Sure.
Usually, once we are on it already, or once we done it, normally we will want students to download Twitter, and when once you download Twitter, the companies that you really like for example Credo, you you will try to follow. First of all, you could type Credo in the search button, and then you try to follow and as well as favorite, and then turn on the notification for all the news that comes out with Credo. So every time when Credo technology comes out with certain news, like people buying Credo, like CEO of Credo buying Credo, all of that going on, that's where you will be doing it. Okay. Now I'm going to tell you something. Now, when the markets is at the bottom, okay, and when we are at extreme fears, when market is at the bottom, and when the S&P 500 started to go up, all of your these stocks usually will go up as well. No matter how crap they are, no matter how crap they are, all of these stocks that we talk about today that you have plotted, they were all gone up. Okay, you look at the graph before, you've seen that. Okay, when we are at the bottom, S&P 500 decided to go up, this will all go up. Okay, and when you choose the stocks that's go up, that has a really high growth rate, And a lot of these stocks is going to go up even to if S&P 500 go up 5%, a lot of these stocks going to go up 10% or more. Okay.
Sure,
Like Cradle Technology went up 10% yesterday. Yeah, just very when S&P 500 went around 1% ish. Yeah, the Cradle went up 10%, just like that. So it's gonna go up even more. But when the S&P 500 goes down though, no matter how powerful your stocks is, no matter how powerful Apple's stock is, Tesla stock is, they're all gonna go down as well. Yeah.
sure,
So usually, and a high growth stock usually come down even more. So that means that in order for us to get into these stocks, we kind of have to make sure S&P 500 actually already went down more than 10%. That it will be worth getting into it.
sure.
Otherwise, it is just going to be um yeah. So if you still remember, we're just gonna talk about that. I'm just gonna share my screen a little bit. If you still remember, we talk about cool, yeah. So if you still remember, we talk about so this is where we are here. So let me see if I can find the things we talk about in terms of price. So there are a few targets that we talk about depending on how much the market crash. So we have a 5%, we have a 10%, that kind of things. Just to recap that back because it's really important. Let me see. Okay, I'm going to just draw it again one more time. So you absolutely kind of got it. Individual stocks. We sell when do we yeah, so that's the cool. So if you remember when the S&P 500 dropped less than like 10%, we will usually get into some bigger ones, okay? This can be like index, okay? And this is like QQQ, this is like SP 500, this is like emerging market, this is like the Brazil, the Japan, and all of that when it drop less than 10%. These can be things like Netflix as well, Microsoft. The one has been beaten up big time. Yeah, Netflix, Microsoft, and a little bit of Meta and even Tesla's as well at the support line. If S&P 500 just drop less than 10%, okay? And because that 10% is kind of okay to start adding some position. Now S&P 500 drop around 3-4%, okay? That's where you really want to start adding quite a lot of positions, yeah? But when it drops more than 10%, that's where baby stocks comes. This is where a lot of individual stocks are going to come, okay? And when it drop more than 18%, that's where we'll be using leverage. That's where that will be, almost go all in. That's where life really, really change big time. And
Sure.
usually it drop 18% probably every other year, okay, or every year. So we have one in 2000 in March. This is a Corona time. It dropped around 32% during Corona March.
Wow.
And then we've got 2020, 2 years after the inflation, the Ukraine war, is also dropped around 22% as well. Yeah, from all-time high. Let me just show you. Mm, so yeah, so that's where we are at. So the Ukraine war started in wait, not this. Yeah, this is 2022. So it went from 4.8 all the way to the bottom is 3.4. 4.8 to
Sure.
3.4. 4.8 to 3.4. How much is this? 4.8, 3.4 is around 14. 4.8 minus 3.4 is 14. 14 divided by 34. Yeah, it's around 40% crash. That's a look. 4.8
Wow. Yeah.
to around 3.4. 4.8 to 3.4. Let me have a look. Yeah, 4.8 to 3.4. We have to calculate from the top to the end. Okay, yeah. So actually it's around 30 something. So if I use 14 divided by this is 4.8. Here by 4, 8. Yep, it's around 30%, around 29% growth. Yeah. I use the
Sure.
new number, I use the original number minus where we get to and divide by where we come from. Okay, this is to calculate the drop. So yeah,
Sure.
so 48 to that is around 29%. This is 2022. And then 2023, there's a drop as well. Let's see.
And that that obviously drop is between the peak and the trough of it.
Yeah, yeah.
That's different from what we use on that website, the US market fair value. That's a different measurement, isn't it?
That's a
What's the
totally
measure?
different measurement. That's the
Yeah,
how valuable your stock is. Yeah,
sure.
that
So
yeah,
if we look at the US market fair value and we obviously want something sort of below
negative
minus
10.
10,
Yes.
um,
When it's
where would
negative 10, this
the
could drop 20%. This could drop
right? Okay,
15%.
interesting. Okay, yeah. So if we
Yeah.
got a minus 10 and the US 500 would be probably minus 15, minus 20, possibly more.
When it's minus 10, yeah, possibly more, or possibly less as well. Depends on how overvalued the stock is. Yeah. So it depends on how much a company earns, etc. So that's usually kind of what happens.
Sure.
But who? So let me have a look. So yeah, so that's kind of what happened there. And then in 2000 and 2023, there's two crash. Okay, so this is very similar to midterm election. Okay. If you ask me where it is gonna be, I think personally, in 2022, we're more likely gonna see things like this. Yeah, this is a midterm election like 4 years ago, 2026 minus 4. Yeah, this is more likely where we're gonna look like. Yeah,
Do you think
our
we're going to see
stock.
a big drop this year?
Yeah, I actually think so. I actually think well, we're actually gonna be like that. Okay. After so many years of like what happened, in the past few years of going up so much. I think this is something very, very usual and very, very normal. Wouldn't be a surprise. Yeah. So
Sure.
like we have a corona, so not corona, we have a Ukraine and Russia war just here in 22nd of February, just there. And
Hmm.
then it went up a little bit and it came back down. And this is a fake out. And before it start coming back down massively there, going on there as well. Yeah. So yeah, and it bottoms at around June, even though you go down a little bit more, but let's say good June is a really good. So that means that by June, you kind of want to make sure you have used around, 95% or 90% of your funds. Yeah. So it's really important. Yeah, so kind of by June time, you want to write that down so you kind of remember kind of what's gonna happen. Okay. So that's gonna happen. And it might happen earlier as well. It might happen earlier as well. But according to midterm election, because we have an election in November, the result happened in November. So in the last 3 months, just before October, no, November time, yeah, usually that kind of what happened. So especially when Democrats win, market is going to be very, very turbulent because it's a change of a structure. Yeah.
Sure. But
So
interesting that that bottom was in June, where
yeah.
there's what we quite often see is the bottom is sort of like end of March, April time, isn't it?
Yep. So there's an end of March, April time here as well. Yeah. This could be a bottom. So even if you've already found the bottom here, you already get into your stocks here, you are still very, very good.
Sure.
Okay. You are still very good because this and this are not too big of a difference. This kind of crashed 10% and then it crashed another 10%. So it's not so much of a difference. So you will temporarily see some negativity in your stocks, but if you're very patient enough, eventually it's gonna go through that. Okay. So even if you aim right here at the bottom, it's still quite
It's
nicely.
just a matter of time for it to come back up.
Exactly. It's still gonna matter of time. It's just gonna come back nicely. But it's just that when we are at the right bottom where it dropped more than 15-20%, and if it comes down there, it's just that we're gonna make use of this opportunity even more, potentially adding
Sure.
some leverage there as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of yeah, that's kind of what happened. It might not reach all the way to the bottom here, but as a trader investor, you truly change your life when that happened. Okay, when it's dropped more than 18%. Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
especially
what
by
if it
using
dropped just
leverage.
more than 3% and 2% and stuff like that? I'm gonna tell you, if it drops just more than 1%, like it might happen, like 1% drop, like 3% drop, 5% drop. Eventually, it's gonna drop all the way back down as well. Yeah.
Sure.
So this is why in trading and investing, it's about being disciplined and yeah, because if I were to be completely, when the markets drop a little bit around 5%, 10%, like what we are seeing right now, no one is interested. Yeah, no one
Yeah.
is interested. You see, the market drops from 70 to 67. This is 3 divided by 70. 3 divided by 70. This is like 4% drop. Okay.
Sure. Which
Warren
is
Buffett
nothing.
and a lot of people wouldn't be interested if it drops just right there. Yeah. We'll be really. So if it drops from 70 to 65, this will be 5 divided by 70. There was be 9% drop. This 9% drop is more like it. Okay. Yes,
Sure.
even though it's 9% drop, it might still continue to come down more because this is 9% drop. If it's a 10% drop, 70, 10% of 70 will be 7. 70 divided by 763. So it will just be around here. Okay. It will go all the way back to August time. So um
And that drop, you're measuring it from the all-time high.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I'm talking about drop from all-time high. Everything
Yeah.
is dropped from all-time high from where we
Sure.
are right now.
Okay,
Okay.
cool. Yeah. So actually, I mean, later on in the chat, I want to talk about leverage as well and the sort of the options. So just let me know
Exactly.
when it's the right time to do things and
Exactly.
how we do
So
that. So
yeah. So yeah, absolutely. So yeah, so there's a 10% drop. And then if it is a 15% drop, it would have gone back to this is a tariffs. It went all the way back down and like that. Yeah.
yeah,
So this is the tariffs all the way back down. This is like 15% drop. What do you mean 15? 70. 15% of 70, 70 by 7. Yep, would just be around there. Okay. And
sure.
you'll be like, you might be very crazy. You might be like, oh, even how is that even possible to drop to 15? Okay. It might sounds impossible and like crazy. But if you look at it carefully, even here as well, a lot of people think it's gonna drop like 5%. So there must be a support line, but it continues to come lower and comes lower and come lower like that. Yeah. This drop is around 19 and 18% drop. Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
Really feeling a lot of fears. And what is really the timing for the bottom, as I said before, is everything that we talk about. First, the VIX is what I'm really interested in. Okay. The VIX right now is probably around 20. When it's around 40, you must add some positions on. Okay. When it's the VIX is around 40. That's the first criteria that I'm looking for. Almost never disappoint me. And the second one is a put and call ratio. Yeah, you probably want to write it down. The VIX above 40, and you start adding position. The second is your put and call ratio. You also want to write it down. When put and call ratio, it's right at the peak there. We also want to be adding some position. What do you mean right at the peak? Put and call ratio historical. So, let me just refresh a little bit. So if you look at it right now, our put and call ratio is kind of the highest ever since in June, in July, August, in November, etc. Okay. And some people have added a little bit of position there, but what we actually want is when it comes to around 5.5 there, index is around 9, the put and call ratio index is around 9. That would be a really beautiful stuff because if you get on it right now, you will be the same position as people who get on it in November time. Okay. This November, October crash is around 5% gain, 5 to 6% gain. So it's not too bad, but at that position, it's only good to get into like some big cap stocks. But if the markets continue to crash, those stocks will get crashed as well. So what are the
Sure.
example of big cap stocks that's good to get in? Because we are the volatility of October time. Let me just show you what happened in October. So in October time, So we have a here November, here October. Yeah, this is a big spike in the put and call, big spike in VIX as well. Exactly the same position where we were. So getting into this will be like getting into some big cap stocks. Okay. And this could be like usually we will if you remember we will get into index. The first one is S&P and the second one is QQQ usually. Okay. And we also will get into things like this like then that's kind of over undervalue for right now. Berkshire is also quite good. Because if you've been reading Market Screener, Warren Buffett just buy back his own shares as well. So let me show you Berkshire. And he thinks that his shares is undervalued. So on the Market Screener, I'll send you a video on that. We talk about that. So so this is just a little bit there, but Berkshire is a very, very steady stock. So even though it came down and it went up a little bit, it wouldn't be too much. 46, 45 to 54, it's around 20%. A really good time to buy is just at the 46, just right there. Yeah. Berkshire is at the lowest P ratio right now. Historical P ratio is low.
And the good things with those, I suppose, is when you're buying sort of the QQQ, you're getting a balanced portfolio then, aren't you? You're buying at a good
Exactly.
price and getting a
Yeah,
balanced
you will get
portfolio.
them
Yeah.
as well. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, when you buy into them. So this is when you drop less than kind of 10%, which is our first thing there. Okay. So first thing there. This is a 3%. This is an okay. This is the first thing there. Okay. When it drop around there, um, crypto would have, because crypto already dropped quite a lot. So as I said, I will be looking to get into crypto when we are at extreme fears as well, which is we are quite close. I personally think when we are at 10%, we would have reached extreme fears already because now it's dropped 3%. We're already almost at fear. If it drops here, we will probably at extreme fears already. So adding a little bit of your positions is kind of fine. Yeah, your SP 500, your QQQ, and cryptos as well. Yeah, and the crypto that we recommend is like your Ethereum, a little bit of
Ethereum,
your
okay.
yeah, your Ethereum. And if you want to make use of crypto up, buying stocks that is handling crypto is good as well, like BNMR, your Bitmine. Not sure if you heard of it. Yeah.
No, I've not.
I,
No.
I, I know you own quite a lot of this what already. So
Yeah, I've
yeah,
got miners, but yeah, no sort of other
yeah, Bitmine is
no
mainly just
cryptos.
just investing in Ethereum. So you can see when things gone from 5th of August last year, when it goes from 2.8 to 7, so almost double in a few days, few weeks time. Yeah. So yeah, so that means if it goes up, it's gonna go up even more. Okay, if it reaches all-time high. But when it comes
Okay,
down, this will also continue to kind of come down as well,
sure,
from even double of the down. So it's really important to kind of get in at the extreme field time.
sure.
And
And can
there's
I
no
get them
bottom
on?
for
Sorry.
there's no bottom for this. They will just keep going lower and lower and lower. Yeah, because it's new companies like strategies and so on. What's your question?
Yeah, I was just going to say. So at the moment, I don't have a live account with IG. So with these companies that we're talking about,
We're
actually, you
only doing
can't.
212.
Yeah, only doing. Yeah, I'm only doing trading 212 at the moment.
Yeah. For
So
this,
you
for at
can.
this moment, we were doing 212 unless it crashed more than 15%, then we will go on IG and those eToro and all these beautiful stuff for our leverage. Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, so if that happens, then you can guide me through. I can.
Exactly. We're going to guide
Yeah.
you through step by step how we're going to go through that. Yeah, because
Sure.
now it's only crashed 3%. So
Yeah.
between 3 to around 10% wise, we'll be looking through the individual baby stocks that you already done. I mean, the big one first when it crash more. If you remember, we only do when it's leverage when it's more than 18%.
18%, I remember
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
So
with eToro, I guess the downside is it's not a ISA account, so you just then pay tax on your gains, do you? With when you're using any company like eToro or IG.
yeah, you're absolutely right. So what we're gonna do on IG, the spread betting is completely tax free. That is the
Yeah,
first part, and the second part is that on trading 212, as we talk about on ISA as well, you can also use leverage on that as well, 2x, 3x, even 5x leverage on
sure,
some of the stocks as well. Yeah, if you
sure.
remember.
Yeah.
And when those happen, whenever you use leverage, you have to sell it as soon as we reach extreme greed time, especially when you see things are significant. So you sell it, and you sell it, you don't do nothing. As an elite student, once you sell it, you want to buy something straight away. You never stay on cash. So you either get into another sector, you either, buy the normal one, there's no leverage one, and stuff like that, and continue to
Mm.
ride that on. Okay.
Sure.
So we never really, yeah, we always want to stay invested. So you want to find another sector. So for example, in April last year, when even in March when people got in already, so we ride all the way to like July, August time. Yeah, a lot of leverage kind of sold in extreme greed in those things. So people make like huge amount of money, 300, 500, even 1,000% of money. And then once they got that, they don't just do nothing anymore. They then find out they then broaden they literally broaden their market screener to find out which companies are undervalued, which is the next thing that most people do not know and hasn't
Sure.
really priced in yet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can either, they either get into treasury, they either stay cashly a bit, but we recommend students to start diversify their portfolio to kind of get into something else. So a lot of our students they either get into like silver, like gold, because they look at mining companies is going higher and higher. They get into copper and stuff like that. So to diversify a little bit, or they go to other countries like Brazil, like Korean. This is in August, July time. So they continue to ride the wave of kind of, go.
Everything, yeah. Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
quite interesting actually because I mean I think some of the concepts I've heard is, obviously when you go to extreme greed, you sell, but then hold on to that cash before the market comes down again. But obviously what you're saying is there's always somewhere around the world with seasonality, there's always some company that's actually either going down or going up, and you can benefit all the time.
exactly. You are
Yeah,
so right. Yeah, you are so right. So the caveat is just you just need to make sure those companies are are undervalued. And because when things are getting over value, your stop has to be very high. You want to watch for a spike of volume. Yeah, like for
sure.
example, like for example, like Japan stock, for example. Let me just show you a little bit. Because when everything is in August time when we sell and we make it into cash, when that happened, our pound sterling was very high. And so at that moment, even if you convert into US dollar, that's also really, really good. That means you buy into US dollar stocks. You don't have to convert, you can buy into US dollar stocks. Like for
Sure.
example, Japan, for example. Yeah. So in what's that called? Yeah, so this is the April crash. So it just went down massively, during April crash. It went all the way to like 2023, same price level. So once one student got in here and during extreme greed time, they saw a lot of their overvalued US stocks. Okay. Yeah, they sold that overvalued US stocks. People will be like, how come Japan and all of these companies are doing way better, Korea and stuff like that? Just last year, why are they doing way better? Is a lot to do with the tariffs and a lot to do with US dollars. So first of all, when Trump increases the tariffs for a lot of these companies. Okay, so that means people import stuff, they have to pay a lot more taxes. So so usually we will be paying taxes to other people. Okay, so when we pay tax to, like for example, to China, for example, we will be paying US dollar. Okay, we wouldn't be changing to China currency. Like let's say China asks us to, okay, China now asks us to pay we import so for example, let's say, let's give some example. So let's say, for example, we are, usually when they are having US dollar, usually they will be having like US dollar on their side, okay, in the China side, because we are buying things from China. Okay, we're buying things from China. So usually we'll be having US dollar, and US dollar will get quite strong. Okay, but ever since the tariffs coming in, so if you really flip it to the other way around, where China don't have so much of US dollar right now because we are not yeah, we don't have so much of US dollar, right? China doesn't have US dollar right now, so they are pulling back a lot of the US dollar back to the country. So just recently, you can see US dollar has been dropping really, really huge compared to so many other currency. Yeah. So because of that as well, let's see. Yeah, you can
I
see.
think that's one thing with the Forex, with the sort of change of currencies and things like that, is something I've always struggled in kind of understanding. Obviously, the
Mm.
stocks I find a lot easier, but with the currencies, I find my yeah mind finds it hard to.
Yeah, very, very usual. So if I show you a little bit, you can see ever since Trump was on in charge, this is January time, okay? Ever
Okay.
since Trump was in charge, things just come down, like going down ever since because of the tariffs and all of that. So US dollar just get weaker and kind of weaker, okay? Because companies so let's talk about this a little bit. So let's say you don't really have to understand it now, but just trying to get it a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
So in a normal sense, in a normal sense, when companies, so let's say we are right now doing like a lot of, let's say, actually. So let's use our this one. Let me just show you a little bit. So yeah, so let's say why when tariffs when Trump imposed tariffs um to another countries, in 2025, US dollar come down. Yeah. Try to see if they understand a little bit. So let's have a look. Market expect to cut rates, risk off, reduce foreign infection, already priced in. Hmm, let's see if they explain in a proper way.
So you're back from New York now?
Yeah, yeah, I'm actually back in the UK right now in London.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a good trip.
Yeah, it's nice. It's nice to stay longer in New York. It's quite nice there as well. But the weather at night in New York is can be quite cold.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, can be quite cold. So so yeah. So according to this, is saying that tariffs can slow the US economy. This is be weird. Expect Federal to cut rate, risk of rotation. Tariffs can reduce foreign investment. Yep. So this is about that. If the US become more protectionist, multinational invest less in US supply, global trade slow, capital shift somewhere else, less capital, weaker US dollar, market
Yeah.
already price in, and all of that as well. But yeah, we'll talk more about that kind of later on. But yeah, just for the sake of understanding, it's just that when before that, we used to have a lot of US kind of, China used to have, or a lot of this foreign currency used to have a lot of, you know, like for example, when we are importing stuff, because right now Trump trying to stop importing. Okay, so we
Right.
don't import so much of like things from other countries, like from Canada for all these things. Now, if we stop importing, like pretend we are US, if we stop importing, that means we no longer send our money away. We no longer send our US dollar away. Okay,
Yeah.
because even though you are buying things from China, you are sending your US dollar away. So that
Uh-huh.
means the US dollar will now come back. So when US dollar come back, we have more supply. So obviously US dollar is going to get weaker and weaker. Yeah.
Sure.
So now now US dollar is kind of quite low. It's not the lowest, but let's see. Yeah, it's kind of the low in 3 years time. This will be the lowest. Okay, this will be the lowest in like 10 years or 5 years time. Okay. Now this is not the lowest. This is still okay. And yeah, so that's kind of what happened with the Supreme, removing existing tariffs and stuff like that. So that's kind of what happened. So let's come back to that as well. So so what does that mean? That means that we will be looking to set pending orders to a lot of the stocks that we have been looking for. So, for example, the first thing we'll be setting pending orders is to buy this guy, okay, to buy this person at around 6530. Okay, this will
Yeah,
be the support line. We'll be buying quite some of this at around this kind of level. Now, yeah, now when we buy this at this level, if it continues to go even lower, okay, if it continues to go even lower, sometimes we will be selling our index just so that we can buy even more individual stocks. Because when it rises later on, index is gonna rise like 1, 2, 3%, but our individual stock is gonna go even higher. Okay. So, but yeah, but we were adding a little bit of dollar cost averaging a little bit just there so that we are in the game a little bit. Okay. So we are in
yeah,
the game. But when it comes down to around 10%, when it comes to around 15%, that's where we will be really like, going all in into into that as well.
sure. And that's
Yeah.
we'd do a separate session on IG live if
100%.
we need
Yeah.
to. Yeah,
To show
sure.
you exactly, what position size, all of that. Yeah.
Sure.
The
One
limit
thing
that.
I'm going to probably do is I was looking at borrowing some money
Okay.
to invest at this extreme fear.
Good. Mm.
I was thinking of put it into trading 212, but actually I'm thinking I need to hold fire. Obviously, I need to wait till the new tax year, which is the 6th of April. Actually, if the market does come down less than minus 18%, then actually I
Mm.
won't be putting it in trading 212. Be putting it somewhere else. So you'd probably advise just to hold, if I do borrow it, just to hold fire on putting it anywhere at the moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You
And
can
when you
probably
talk,
start your borrowing process when market crash like 10% or around 15% as well. Yeah.
sure, yeah, and
If it doesn't take too long to get it. Yeah.
to get it, yeah. And what was the other thing I was going to say? Yeah, can't remember. It'll come to me.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. So let's look at some of the stocks that you yeah, okay, okay. So yeah, so that's kind of what happened there. Yeah. So when we come to choosing some of the stocks as well, some of them, if you look at it quite carefully or quite nicely as well, some of them that this is done by another student. So some of them that we will be definitely be looking for is will be Cradle. I'm gonna just choose five first. Yeah, we're gonna put pending orders into Cradle. We're going to choose five first. We're going to Cradle, our AMD, and our Nvidias as well, our Robinhood and our Palantir. Let me just show you some line that we will be looking for.
Yeah.
Like for example, we will be really interested to get into Cradle when, let's see.
Yeah, because I noticed on some of the ones that I'd analysed that although some of them had quite good projection revenue for the future, actually they were maintaining really good levels on their current stock. So some of them have started to come down, but some of them are still holding their pace
Still
quite
holding very
well.
nicely. You're
Yeah.
absolutely right. Yeah. So let's see. Let me just put the volume here. Just because the volume is going to tell us when is the
Oh,
bottom.
Coach, could you just show me how do you do that again? How you turn on the volume?
Yeah, it's just going to be here. There's an indicator there. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
there's a volume there.
Volume. Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Thank
So
you.
volume is usually a sign of a market kind of reversal, etc. As you can see, it went down really nicely. Suddenly a peak of volume. Suddenly market started to go up really nicely there. Yeah.
Yeah. And that peak of volume on the
Or
so it's what
around here.
million
Yeah.
is that number of people buying or is that the value of stocks that are
Both.
being
It's
bought?
both people buying and selling.
Sure.
Yeah. So go up big time. There's a reversal peak of volume there. So it's a reversal signal, fake out a little bit before it come back down really, really nicely.
Yeah.
So even if you bought it here, the peak of volume is really, really nice as well. Eventually it will go back up there. And then this is four, and then they go to around three. And then there's another peak of volume going up really nicely as well. And then finally the bottom really happened when there's another peak of volume just right there. Okay,
Yeah.
that's the reverse, start to go reverse back. Now we got some peak of volume just right here. So it might be, it might be a bit interesting. So putting a pending order on Cradle at 9.2, write that down. At 9.2, buying it just below 9.2, just a little bit of your funds is quite okay. So whether it's £100, £200, £300, just to get in the game, so that you have a mentally prepared. The more negative that is, the more you're gonna add a little bit more position on. Yeah. So it's just around 92 there, just because we've seen a peak of volume just right there. Yeah. And That's the first part. So we normally put 2 to 3 pending orders going on. Okay. So that will be a price where to add some positions on. Or what if it doesn't? If it just keeps going up, that's fine. It's gonna come back down eventually as well. Okay. And what if you get triggers and if it keeps going down? That's fine. Eventually you're gonna make money as well. Okay.
Yep.
So that's kind of what you remember it's just like when you get into a lot of these trades that you go into in April, you go into some like some mining and all of that things going on. You're not gonna see making money the first minute. Oh, I have to be green the first minute, or the first hour has to be green, the first, next day has to be green. It's not really like that because in trading and investing, you don't really need the ability to time the bottom powerfully. Yes,
Mm.
you can time the bottom by opening inside the cross, the VIX is at the top, the put and call ratio, the fear and greed is right at the fear and greed is right at the super fear side, below 10, below 5. That would be really, really dreamy, really, really nice when that happened. That will usually be the bottom. The volume spike, that will usually be the bottom, but it doesn't have to be like that. Because in trading and investing, as long as you sell it more than where you bought, you will be quite fine already. Okay.
Sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And
So
that's the
so it
benefit
does
dollar cost averaging, isn't it? It's sort of as it goes
exactly. So
down,
you don't
providing
have
you're buying at the right price.
exactly.
It's
There's no need to be too pedantic
sure,
about wow, we always want to buy at the undervalue. We also always want to buy at a discount. We always so that we can make even more. Um and yeah, but on your level, not investing actually going to cost us even more. Okay, usually because staying invested is always the best policy. Yeah. So that doesn't mean that we should invest it. Yeah. So that's kind of what happens. So having discount is really good. Warren Buffett's strategies in his past 90 years, 80 years, he literally get in when market crash more than 15% and more. Okay. Last time, I went to see him in May time. He almost he market crash around 18%. That's where he's really, really almost buying stock. 18% was asking, have you bought your stocks yet? He was negotiating, he was getting into the deal, he's using his billions and billions to kind of trying to get in. So that will be where he's comfortable to kind of getting in. Yeah. So that's kind of what happened. And eventually he pull out eventually, but you can see at that time is where he's get really, really comfortable. But we were not gonna aim like that. Yeah, anything 15% is where we will be using almost all of our powder.
sure. And actually, with I remember my question now. So when we talk about we can use leverage when the market drops below 18%,
Yes.
are we talking about the US fair value going down to minus 18, or are we
No, we're
talking
talking about
about
this from
we're
all-time
talking about the
high.
market? Cool,
Yeah,
brilliant. Okay,
from all-time high. Yeah,
yeah,
we're talking about S&P 500 from all-time high.
all-time high.
That
Yeah,
is because historically S&P 500 every year we went down 5%, 5 times. Okay, quite a lot.
sure.
5% drop. That's usually what happened. And then
So actually, for the
10% drop,
US, sorry, go on.
S&P 500. And then
Yeah,
10% drop happen every 2 to 3 times a year as well, every 2 times a year. But
sure.
15%, like 15% drop usually just happen once a year. Yeah. So that's what we are looking for.
So for the US 500 to drop minus 18%, the fair value could only be sort of minus 10 or something like that.
Yes, it could as
Yeah,
well. It
yeah.
could. It could as well. The fair value can go to negative, like that's a very very good thinking. I really like that thinking. So cool. So you can see the S&P 500 is dropping around 3. Okay, let me just show you. Let me just show it's good to back test that a little bit. So if I just show you, let me just show you what happened last time. Check that. Let's go to fair value, which is just here. Cool. So if you look at around a year ago, kind of what happened. So in 17th of February time, it's still very overvalued last year. Okay. So it went down, it went down, it went down, it went down to 6.7. This is the March time. So that's when market already crashed like 10%, okay, from all-time high. and it continues to went all the way down to 17%. Okay, this is where market crash around 18%. So very similar. Market crash at 18%. This one went down 17, 18%. Very similar. What about the one before? Let's see. So the one before in December was just very overvalued, and it started to drop, and market crash 28% we saw just now. This crash around 20%. But even before, markets was crash around 10%, it crashed around 10%. So it has been very, very normal in very coherent. Okay. So that means that since we're already on -6 as well, 7, almost 6 as well. So yeah, just a little bit more around when it crashed 10%, that's where we'll be adding positions on. Yeah, so just our SB5 just right there. Very tanky. So yeah, so that means when it was around there, a lot of the stocks will be very undervalued kind of
Sure.
already. So when it's there, so potentially we'll add a little bit small kind of positions on Robinhood. Okay, when it comes here, your Cradle would have got triggered because we have a pending order there on Cradle. Robinhood is also a very good one. Let me show you. Yep. When it's there, we want to buy Robinhood below our this kind of level, just before the tariffs. So that would just be below. Just write that down a little bit. I kind of want you to do a pending order on this 6.4. Again, below 6.4, automatically, no matter what happened to the economy, to the market, you want to get triggered. Okay, your stocks want to get triggered. Yeah. So why that kind of level? Let me
And
show.
can I do pending orders on trading 212?
Yes, you can do a
You
pending
can.
order on trading to one two.
Ah, okay, I'll have a look at that.
Yeah, just a pending orders on trading to one two there. So, mm, so when that comes, so that automatically, without panicking, you will already be like, oh, I already got in kind of these stocks. Yeah, just below. Yeah, just the same price as it was on the 14. It might came like even halfway through. You might come down all the way halfway through, but it's better, better to get in a little bit. But because when it comes down a little bit more, we will just get in a little bit more there as well.
Sure. And if
Yeah.
you do a pending order on these at the moment, when it comes down to whatever amount,
Mm.
what sort of value are you looking to sort of put in? Just
Good.
if you,
So it's just a
yeah,
pending order. It's just to get in a little bit there. We will put around between 1% to 5% of your money. Yeah.
yeah,
So it can be £100, it can be £200. Just so that you know that the more red it gets, the more you should be adding. So that you are on the line. So you invest in this company. So you can study a little bit more this company. So you get pay yourself in some radar of a lot of these companies. So when it comes down a little bit more, that's we will be adding kind of even more. So it's
sure.
easier to say that, oh, it might come all the way to zero. So we have to be realistic of where it's gonna come down to.
Yeah,
Yeah. So and as yeah, we have to be realistic of where it's gonna come down to. So personally, if it is 6.4, you already at a quite a great bargain. So if it comes down to like let's say 4 to around 6, 4, 6, yeah, there's around 20%, 30, 50% there. That's okay as well. That's around okay. But a little bit there is okay because 6.5 it can go all the way to 14. So 6.5 to 14, that's also quite
yes,
quite nice
yeah,
if
150%. Yeah.
yeah, if it goes back all back to kind of all time high.
And
Yeah.
would you do sort of most of your orders on like a pending order, or do you do some of them manually as well? Because all
I
of
would
mine
do
I've done
both.
actually
I would
manually.
do
Yeah,
both. Because
yeah,
sometimes when during exchange field time, you first of all you might not have the time. Okay, you might not have the time to do it,
yeah,
or you might be feeling because you are supposed to feel fearful at that moment as well.
sure.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you might be having second thoughts. You might be like, oh, I don't know whether I want to like buy this. I don't know whether it's gonna crash even more and stuff like that. So, but if you do a pending order, you'll be like, it's okay.
yeah,
Because now you are very neutral. Now
yeah,
you will be like, oh, you're very neutral. You don't know what's gonna happen. You down your calculations and you're quite neutral now. But when the things actually comes, you might not be not so neutral anymore. So it's good to know that where would you actually be happy to get into for a lot of your these stocks. Yeah. For like Bitcoin, for example, and in a neutral state, because you might be keep changing later on, but if you look at it carefully, and we really want a big spike of volume, just around 200. So a neutral stage of where we will get into Bitcoin will just be, I would say even below 60, adding
Yeah.
a little bit, 10% of your position on the Bitcoin, just clicking that button is kind of a good thing. Just waiting for the volume to kind of spike that up a little bit. Yeah, adding a little bit there can be also quite nicely as
And
well.
f and for me, that would have to be on a new account when I think with Bitcoin because I don't think they've got them on Trading 212. So that would have to be
Yeah, on Bitcoin, we will be using like Revolut or Coinbase, but you
Coinbase.
don't have to get into Bitcoin. When we talk about buying Bitcoin, you can buy things related to Bitcoin. Okay, this can be your strategy that we talk about, the micro strategy that you're
MicroStrategy.
shorting,
Yeah.
that you make hundreds of thousands like that. So that's the same thing with Bitcoin. So if you think Bitcoin is going to go up, this guy is going to go up. So a good place to get in there will be 10. Just write that down. Adding a little bit of position at 10K on strategy will not be kind of like, the end of the world. Yeah. So you have to look at what Bitcoin is at kind of that time. As you
Yeah.
say, the most important criteria, really one of the most important criteria I'm looking for is the VIX. Okay. So VIX, let me show you a little bit. VIX right now is around 20. VIX is how scared people are, how volatile people are. So you can see every single time our market really, really top or really, really bottom is when VIX go above 30, even 35s.
Yeah.
Okay. So you write it down when it's above 30, no matter what happened, you have to add some positions as well. Okay. Even if it reaches above 25 there, it's not the end of the world if you have bought some index. It's actually a good thing. Yeah, above the 25 there. Yeah. So conclusion is that this year is just it can be a very interesting year. And very interesting year, especially if you make use of a lot of these
Sure.
volatility. Yeah, make
And
use of volatility, having powder to use a lot of this volatility as well. Okay. Or
yeah.
what if we miss out on what if it comes out? What if it doesn't happen? And this year is a chance where it would happen. Okay, especially the end of especially just by June time. Yeah, write it down by June time is where we this if you are scared, if you are not sure about how this year is going to look like, it's going to look like 2022, 2022 minus another 4, it's going to look like 2018. 2018 minus another 4 is going to look like 2014. This is the midterm election,
Midterm elections.
and
Sure.
and it's always very, very similar. If I show you,
I remember on my VIP training actually that you were saying the year after the elections is a good year for this.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So if I go back to this, so this is how it looks like. Just to show you a little bit. So a lot of the times you might feel that, oh, am I missing out on things, the pullback, but and eventually it's gonna come back even more. And then in June time, really form a really beautiful bottom there. And then you say, oh, am I missing out? I'm gonna tell you, if you think you are missing out, and if you add position, when the market is still 15% crash, you are still on a great discount. Yeah, coming
Sure.
from the all-time high. Yeah, just a little bit like that, not coming down is okay. So the last one, 2018, let's have a look. 2018 also very similar. This is 2018. So yeah, so it was just coming back down a little bit, just that. So if you already got in here, then it's okay. Even though eventually it came down a little bit more. So if you get in here as well, that's still kind of okay to make use of that.
So what I was thinking actually with the sort of the correction that we see in typically around March,
Yeah,
early April time,
yeah,
what we're saying is this year, because it's the midterm elections, we could actually see that double dip and that could go
yeah,
on to sort of June,
yeah.
yeah, May,
It
June
could.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, it could have a double dip from what we are
So,
seeing
so it's worth
there.
not investing all your money sort of by the middle of April, for example, that actually you still want to
I
start
would
from buying.
say it depends on how much it crashed. So it much better rather than have a time frame. The time frame is for us to prepare. Rather than have a time frame, a better thing to do is to make sure S&P 500 crash more from all-time high. Yeah. Let me show you average. Okay. average of SP 500 drop from all-time high. This is almost a guarantee. This is a lot more reliable. Okay, let me just show you a bit total drawdown 17, 19, 20, 50. Let's see numbers all-time high. So S&P. Let's see if they got anything kind of here. So let's see this a little bit. Okay, this is 199 something, so it's a bit old, but let's try. So this is this is 21, 35. I think this is 35, and then this is 57. This is 50. Okay, this is a bit too wide apart. Liberation Day rally. Percentage spent from an all-time percentage of time spent. Okay. Mm, 3 months is after the rate cut. Just so that you got an average of how. Okay, let's use ChatGPT for 5% drop, 10%, you know, and 15%, and 20%, and probability of that every year. Just so that you kind of see, because we haven't seen anything this year yet. We haven't seen anything just yet. So 3% is very normal. Yep. So it's a normal market noise. 5% drop, pullback, 10% will be a correction, 15 will be deep, 20 bear market. So let's see how often it happens. So 3% happens 7 to 10 times every year, which happened a lot last year as well. Almost every single year is like that. 5% drop 3 to 4 times percent. So 10% drop, that's where we want to start adding position on. Okay. This will be the 6-3 that we were just talking about. Yeah. 6-5 will be adding some. The 6-3 will be just, yeah, will just be here from 70 to 6-3, around 10% kind of drop there. And yeah, 15% drop, once every 20%, once every 7. Typical time it takes. Average time from all-time high a few days to 2 weeks, which is what we are seeing now. 10% drop with just 1 to 2. Okay, important timing.
That's interesting data, isn't it?
Average almost have a pullback every year, and annual intraday drop yearly, even though it's not, I would say it never really drops more than, it's not healthy for you to think that it's going to drop more than 20%. Wow, you're going to make a lot of money. A lot of pensioners, they're just waiting for you to drop more than 20%. It happened, in last year, it happened almost last year, and it happens 2 years ago before last year as well. So some people just go in then and do something. But as an elite students, getting in a little bit on usual times is quite nice as well. Yeah, so even in strong bull market, 19, 20 for your trading, 5 to 10. Yeah, micro panic, for example, of the past cycle. Ukraine war, we have a 25% drop, it's around 28. COVID crash 34, tightening, Gulf war, Gulf. Okay. So yeah, so that's kind of on average, kind of like what kind of happened. Yeah, usually we have a really, really nice graphs kind of going on there. Yeah. So yeah,
Okay.
same type, being patient here. So so we have gone to some stocks as well. So Netflix as well is also quite nice to like get into as well. I will be interested to put into a pending order because Netflix has been crashed big time. Putting a pending orders on the Netflix around 8.5 is quite a good thing as well. Okay. Put your pending orders on Netflix around 8.5. So all of these you will see it will get triggered during the first extreme fear because we are putting a pending order here. So and Netflix drop from 9.8 to 8.4, almost we will have gone to extreme fear times. Okay. That's
Sure.
we'll put our powder, some of the powder into use already just then.
When you do a pending order, how long does that pending order last? Does it expire after like a few
Um,
days or
you have to tick it for last till what's that called? Last till forever. It's good till
last till
cancel,
forever?
it's
Cool.
called.
Yeah. You can always cancel the pending order, can't you? I guess so. You just tick last forever, and then yeah, you don't
Yeah.
have to worry then if it's next week that it happens or 2 weeks. At least you don't have to do it like daily, for example.
Yeah, you don't have to do it daily.
Yeah,
If you put
that's
it
good.
once, you can use it kind of forever.
Cool.
Yeah, cool. So that's kind of what happened
Yeah, and that's
there.
really useful, isn't it? Because if you're busy, you're out, really, really busy with work, for example, you're out all day for several days.
Mm.
It's nice
I
that you've got
find
the
that,
pending orders
yeah,
set.
absolutely. I find that when you are not, when you are neutral, when you put a pending order, when you are neutral, you will do it. But when you
Yeah,
are very fearful, because everyone will feel fearful, Warren Buffett will feel fearful at that moment. I find yourself that you will always give yourself an excuse that, oh, it might drop lower.
sure.
Yes, it might drop lower. Yes, it will. It might drop lower. And in experience, people just don't do it. They just don't buy it because they are fear that, oh, is it gonna drop lower? Is it gonna drop lower and stuff like that. Yes, you might get a few more percentage nice, even 10, even 50% nice. You might, but looking back later on, yeah, as long as you are, you get 10%, 15% drop from all-time high on SB, you are quite safe already. So pending orders is nice. I also find that usually it wouldn't come to that level for a very long time. Okay. Like for
Sure.
example, yeah, so it was just around there, and then it will scared you a little bit. Let me just show you. So even this as well, it came back down. Okay, let's go to Cradle, for example. It was just almost touching it a little bit there. But sometimes it's just that heat of the moment. So yeah, it was just touching it there and then. So it's just touching it so quickly. So let me show you hourly chart. So it was just like, okay, market opens 2:30 and then 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. We don't have to be there. Even then it's fine as well if the market really, really crash. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it don't doesn't have to be like obviously the bottom of the bottom. It can be quite toxic if you think about that like that. But as long
Well,
as you see the
you can
volume
never
spike.
buy at the very bottom, can you? And you can never sell at the very top. You just provide your dollar cost averaging around each,
Mm,
then
exactly. Exactly. Yeah. But the less, if we get in too fast, too early, we are still gonna make profit. Okay, we are still gonna make profit. It's just that it's just that mentally you got to be even stronger because you were gonna see more negative. Or what do
yeah,
you mean? Like for example, um, you could have got in using people technical analysis. Some people have already got in on Cradle here. So that means that they already start seeing negativity since then. So you have to just stomach it a little bit longer. So the best way to stomach it, if you already use all your powder, you just click forget password.
cool.
Yeah. So that's kind of what, yeah, that's kind of what happened just then as well. Yeah. Palantir, a really nice place to kind of go in as well for Palantir. Just a little bit there will just be here around anything below 12, 12K. Adding a little bit there is quite nice. We are still waiting for a spike of a volume. Let me see and put on the volume on. Yeah, so we got spike of volume. Yeah, crazy spike. So how do you know volume works? You have to go back in time to see if last time volume works or not. Yeah. So that's where give you the thinking of, oh, actually it's not too bad because, like for example, you can see in April time it was just crashing and crashing and crashing, and there's a volume spike 7th of April here, and you'll be like, oh wow, this is beautiful, and you'll be like, oh okay, and so right now we are just waiting for the very similar kind of spike around what level? Let's see, just around 3-3 level. So if it comes to 3-3 level, just close your eyes and just click a little bit there. That'll be really nice as well. Yeah.
Cool,
And
cool.
some people already added there. Some people will be like 27th of Jan. Okay, 27th of Jan is a bit too early. It's not even an extreme fear. Extreme fear is there. Yeah. So even if you go in any of that, like let's say if you go in any of that, for good companies, eventually it will go up higher. Yeah. So that's kind of what happened then. Um, Tesla, for example, also quite nice to get in as well. Mm, let's look at the volume for Tesla. So Tesla was very, very high peak of volume just here. This is around 353. Yeah, 35 there. Elon Musk actually bought 10 billion of his stock at the open market just there. And
Hmm.
it's been hovering around that level. So if you can buy the same prices where there will be buying Tesla below 35 is also quite a steal as well because robots is coming. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to
So
massive. Yeah,
yeah,
I've seen projections on where it's going to be over the next 3 to 5 years from James from Invest Answers, and yeah, I think their predictions. There's lots of different predictions out there, but it's going to be sort of 5, 10x, I think, over the next few years, isn't it?
exactly.
If not
Yeah.
more.
Especially when there's not many crazy competitors coming in. So but as you said, no matter how good the company is, if the S&P 500 come down, it will come down as well. But if it goes up, this will go up even more than many things and many other people.
So
Yeah.
something I've struggled in my mind with, if say for example you've bought Tesla at 200
Yeah.
and then it goes to 400, you've doubled your money.
Yeah.
Um, and then if you then sell some at 400
Yeah.
and then it comes down to say 300,
Yeah.
you've now increased your average
That's
buying
fine.
price,
That's absolutely
but
fine.
that's fine. But it's
That's absolutely
still,
fine.
but that's still the right thing to do. For example, is sell at 400, wait for it to three, buy some more. Yeah. Because I was
That
trying to
that
work out in my mind, is that going to make you better off or not? Because you're increasing your average buying price, but you're still buying more.
as long as you sell lower than where you come from, that's
Yeah,
just fine. So for
fine.
Tesla, this is how we do it. This because Tesla has a pattern. Yeah, every stock has its own pattern. So Tesla has, if you've been looking into historical average of Tesla, whenever it gets to around 50K, is almost there's a return. So you'll be like, okay, no matter what I bought, I will kind of sell at 50K and hoping to get a little bit better
Yeah.
then. As when 50K is at extreme fear, then you wouldn't have sold it. When extreme greed though, 50K for Tesla, then it's fine. A lot of our students did do that. They bought at 20 and something, and then they sold it at 50. And this is greed time. This is like
Mm.
September, August time. They sold it at greed time a bit higher. And yeah, and then they just wait for another pullback, and then or they look for another stock.
So
Yeah,
would you sell now at Tesla at 400 or is
I
it?
wouldn't have sold now. No,
No.
no.
Okay.
Tesla is very low right now. If you look at what is doing, it's the same price as it was 6 months ago. This is quite
Sure.
low at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I wouldn't sell now. I was looking to add position at around.
350, you reckon?
Just below 350, that will be a good price to get into as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
And the last one, that also get into AMDs as well. Let's see.
Yeah, they were on my list.
Yeah, nice. So you can see AMD has been very choppy, historically. Choppy is good. That means you can buy and sell like that.
Hmm.
So like the last time we will get into it, 776, a lot of students go into it. This is April time. It came down to the bottom. It really actually come down to our technical support. Let's look at the volume a little bit here. So like that. Okay, so you come to the very, very nice support in the past 2020 for 5 years kind of support. Yeah, it came down to 5 years support, and then it from 8 it went to 26, almost three times like
Wow.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost three times like that. And this is yeah till October time, three times like that. You keep trailing your stop kind of higher and higher. Okay, cool. So three times like that. And then what happened then? Yep. So it's still very high growth rate. So we will be looking to kind of get into this when it comes to at least just around this kind of level, around 15. Okay. Getting to
Sure.
15, you can see the peak of volume here. So this will be a really nice support. Yeah. Just 15, just below 16 as well. Even below 15, 16 will be quite nice because there's a peak volume just right there. Yeah. So adding a little bit there, a little bit then, yeah, that will be quite nice. And then you will double your money pretty in a pretty fast way. Obviously, if it comes down even lower, you know, that's where life actually change big time and almost
Mm.
guarantee. I'm going to tell you, you know, um, financial freedom actually happens forever when really people build generation wealth, not just financial freedom, they really generation wealth when it's dropped more than 18%. That's where
Sure.
like, wow, you know, why? Because when you drop more than 18%, all of your stocks, you're going to go thousands and thousands percent like that, no matter how much you start with. A lot of
Sure.
our students start with £250. You saw them making 500K, making to 200K from really, really small amount of money because, they get in at a really, really beautiful market timing. Yeah.
And the reason why we only use leverage, because leverage, you've got risk, haven't you? Because you can actually lose money with
Because,
leverage.
yeah,
Is that right? So we
exactly. If you start
actually,
using leverage when, let's say, when market was just
we want
here,
to make sure the market's as low as
what
possible,
if,
don't we, I
yeah, what
guess?
if it continue comes down? Yeah. So you will
Yeah.
just keep getting stop out all the time. But if you go
Sure.
use leverage when we are at the bottom, then things are so much nicer.
Sure.
Awesome. So your homework right now, I'm gonna send you some videos so that you can go through some of them as well.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna tell you which is the sign. Okay, some of the sign that you will see a bottom actually coming in is actually going to be Trump. Okay, you're going to turn on the notification for True Social because when Trump say market crash, he come up with the tariffs. When Trump say market is finished crashing, he actually tell everyone that it's time to buy stock.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, literally, he literally say that. It's crazy because
Okay.
he's already a billionaire. Because before he become so he got a lot of friends and family. He's got a lot of friends who are involved themselves along in the stock market because stock market is probably the only way to become super wealthy. So he got a lot of friends and stuff like that who follow him rigorously. Like, for example, 2 days ago, he come up with the Clarity Act. When we are doing the call, we kind of missed that because we were doing the call. So he come up with the Clarity Act. Trump. Let me just show you a little bit. Yeah, it's just around 2 days ago. He came up with literally saying that the Clarity Act. Let's see. Let me do clearer one. Yeah, just around 2 days ago, really talking about the banks should not be trying to undercut the Genius Act, hold the Clarity Act, that they need to make a good deal with the crypto industry. This is March 3rd, okay? When this happened, this is the US time. When this happened, which is when we are still doing our weekly call. Yeah, just on that moment, crypto has just gone up 10%, 15%, ever since really from the bottom of 65. What's that called? Bitcoin. No. So I show you the bill here. So just around there with March, February. Yep, just around there when we was doing. Yep, just around there. So he's talking about that. Suddenly it will spike up quite nicely then as well. Yeah, he hasn't really. He's just saying something what needs to happen, what doesn't need to happen. But when things come down big time, he will usually give some signal yeah, he will usually
Sure.
give some signals as well. Okay.
Sure. And you say he's notified that on, do you say there's
True Social. He's got another
True
social media called
Social?
True Social. Yeah,
Ah,
download that app and turn on the notification just for him is quite okay as well. Yeah. Cool. So what does that mean moving forward in terms of your homework? Yep. Obviously, do the pending orders that we talk about there. Put at the
Yep.
support line the pending orders. Aim for the volume just right there. Yeah. Put the support line on the pending orders. Yeah. Do on there. That's the first part. And the second part is that on market screeners as well. You will find a lot of potential bottom and news what's gonna happen on market screener on market screeners as well on Tuesday coming in letting us know what to buy and what to sell yeah that is the increase big time 30% continue to find vigorously any stocks that continues big time and the next one is go to Twitter and really favorite a lot of your stocks and turn on the
All my baby
notification.
stocks. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of those baby stocks so that you understand deeply what they do. You kind of, because when you own the stock, you kind of, it's nice to understand what they actually do. Yeah. It's like you own a lot of this mining company, you have a reason. You have to have a reason. If people who don't have a reason, they they never sell or they just don't know what's going to happen. Like a lot of your company, you say a lot of your friends who you just keep owning a lot of this mining company, and at the end of the day, they just crash down big time. While you sell some of them already, at the top a little bit there. So you want to have a little bit of your reasons of why you buy. Okay, one of our mentors, Ray Dalio, actually say, when you get into the stock, you want to have reasons, and Warren also say you want to have reasons you can explain to a 10-year-old what it actually looks like, why
Yeah.
you buy them. Like, for example, we sold coffee, for example, when coffee was all-time high in October, when Trump was saying coffee is all-time high. So a seasonality was going down. So a lot of these criteria are really, really going really beautifully and nicely.
Mm.
Yeah. So
So
hence,
So yeah, I was just going to ask one question on. So obviously you've done a lot of work obviously on your IG account with obviously
yes.
your support line and all your arrows and what's happened historically. Um, so I guess a question is for me, should I start doing that on? Obviously I've done some work already on. Hold on, let me have a look on um, TradingView. So
Nice.
would you advise for me to stick to TradingView now I've started to do
Yeah.
work on there, or would you say actually no, actually IG is the better platform
You
to
can you
do
can stick
that?
with trading view. It's just like when you reference it, you will go reference it back. Okay, you
Sure,
reference it back. You draw support a little bit, so you have a notion of an idea of where it was. Yeah. So
sure. I mean, just
platform
now I've
doesn't
done all
really
the
matter.
homework. Yeah, I was just going to say now I've done all the homework and I've got the figures. It wouldn't actually probably take too long to that then actually transfer that over to IG.
You don't have to transfer because I personally think if you transfer, it's going to be all over the place. It's just like just now we went to CIG. The chart is all over the place. You can't really see the chart properly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
you can try your best to see what's best for you. Yeah, but remember, yeah, you have to find the guidance that's kind of never happened before. That's where your jackpot is. Okay. Yeah, that if the guidance started to drop a little bit, that we wouldn't be doing so much. But you want to see the guidance that never kind of happened before. Yeah,
yep,
in terms of your guidance, hopefully because it keeps coming new one,
sure.
updating it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, I was just thinking that because you use IG, and when you do your training IG, if I deleted what I've done on IG because it looks quite messy, then
Mm.
when we do the training, it's easier to follow on IG because that's what you train on.
Up to you. Up to you. You
So
you can
yeah,
you can do both. Yeah, a lot of people use other platforms as well because we are teaching the strategies as well. But just don't make it too clutter. Otherwise, you might
yeah,
find your analysis a little bit,
yeah.
a
And
little bit.
on IG, everything's currently on my demo platform.
Okay,
So I'm guessing
that's good.
what I
You
need
have
to
a
do is
demo
I
and then you
need
have a different one. That's good as well.
yeah, so I need to open up my live account and then actually I'll transfer everything over to the live account.
Yeah, sounds good like that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Awesome. Well done. So yeah, exchange fees should be quite soon. And when it's the time, just book a call again so we can do it properly.
Yeah, no, that's cool. So yeah, it's we'll look at those figures, keep watching things, and yeah. So I don't know if I've got any other questions. So next steps, we've confirmed that. I've got some homework. Did you say some videos that you've got to send me as well?
Yeah, I'm gonna send you some videos as well, so you really know the importance of finding things that is never happened before. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. I haven't started the actual training videos yet on the Elite on the
You don't
Elite
have to
website yet.
start that because it's very overwhelmed. There's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah,
But it's because time is almost there. So when you have time, you can go through that. But yeah, right now is much better to do research about your stocks. What does your stock do? What is the normal P ratio of the stock? When was the last time the CEO bought, CEO of the company bought your stock, insider bought your stock, what price they bought at? Because when they bought at that stock, it would be nice to buy at that place as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
amazing, amazing.
So doing research now is about doing more research about going to Twitter and favor a lot of these stocks. Just read a little bit, trying to understand what they do and what are the risks involved and what are not the risks involved. So
Yeah,
knowing a little bit of the risk so that when the risk comes, you'll be like, oh, okay. Um, you know, be careful of volume spike, or I must sell this when extreme greed happen. Don't sell it in between because you only sell it too soon. It's a bit tricky. Yeah, when extreme greed happens. So yeah. But eventually you want to know that holding your stock, buying stocks, eventually it's gonna make you a lot of money. Even though you feel like everything is very doomed, market crashes happen, all these are very temporarily.
yeah, sure. It sounds perfect. I think that's everything.
Awesome. Anything,
So
just book a call again and we take it from there. Yeah.
amazing, Raven. So good to see you again. Thank you so much for your time. That was a really good session.
Anytime. Speak